love reading, I suppose. If you think about it, it probably is because I'm spreading love. Get excited. I am the hostess with the mostest, the High Priestess Phoenix. Spreading truth. That's painful. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, light worker, Starseed, earth angel, oh Lord, mystic medium, psychic witch, yogi, guru, evangelist. I wonder if you're in that book. North American Sybil. I am your messenger of God, the first child of God, the Lilith reincarnated. In order to keep up with me, you might have seen my last live video, what I posted on my community page, and anything in my shorts. I'm trying to see if Buddha's in this book. Give me a second. Why? I don't know. Doing a lot with him. I mean, as soon as I saw the Brotherhood of the Ray of the Ascended Christ. Akashic Records. Let me just see. Give me a minute. What's up with Buddha? I don't know. Do you know Buddha? Buddha's cool. I just got done watching that movie, 7 Years in Tibet. It was about the Dalai Lama, who's a reincarnation of, the Holy One, and must learn the teachings and be their chosen Holy One. And it was all about Buddha's teachings. The movie talked about during World War I and all that bullshit. Excuse me, I'm a little tired. No, he's not in the Palladian book, but I'm sure he is, because why wouldn't he be? Just not in the glossary. I'm like, where do I go with this? I mean, I can just pull out his book and we can just start there, I suppose. Where else do we go? But the whole story was he was in China and then he was pushed into India, right? And so if you know the split, and I have a book that says it right here, I guess that book is what we'll pull out too. Oh, shit. Where's that book? Oh, Martin Luther King. What's up, buddy? That book. Here it is. I haven't read much of this book. A collection of essays from Buddhism from the Vaishnavan Hindu perspective. Meaning, so what we do over here is, when we do religious studies, it's from an American, sorry, I'm so sorry, or a Western perspective is what we do. So they took Buddhist teachings and they looked at it from their perspective, and there's a book on it, and they have the same perspectives. What are we talking about? Those that studied Krishna wanted to learn about Buddha, and I assure you, they definitely wanted to learn about Christ. So then you take these three that are known in time, and what do we know? They're exactly the fucking same. And their works just in different times and different locations. As I see this, it's like, and then I see Western civilization, its own little folded little floating island over here. I mean, it was who got him first. That's what everyone's doing, is trying to get you to God in whatever way they can get to you. Who got him first? Everybody, mostly, gets pulled into some source of God. What I tried to explain to you is, like, if you didn't have all the teachings from all the books, then you wouldn't know God. You can't fully understand God, especially from the Bible. He's, the only one that really made you to understand God was, Jesus. And people didn't accept that form of God. They didn't know that God. Who, Jesus? No, the God he spoke of. Really? Yeah. They knew somebody was going to come and set them free, but they didn't know what that meant. And what it meant, all it meant was from their belief system. And that's all I can do. That's all any of us can do, is teach you how to think differently, how to have faith and hope and trust and love and compassion and understanding. I've always been part of them. I did get one life in the light. Any others? Not that I can ever see. No. But that's my, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter, because I don't feel like I needed to be Kanyen to be part of it. Just, you know what I mean? My Kali was enough. You know, going back to it all, because the teachings are within the teachings within the teachings. And, we spoke about him yesterday. I pulled out his card yesterday. You know, it's like that energy is within many people. And they've never even studied these men. You know what I mean? Like going back to Ali or Lewis. Lewis has Metatron's cube literally tattooed on his hand. What does he know about Metatron? He has all of, you know what I mean, religion tattooed across his body. But what does he know of the things? Why did he mark himself with the markings of the gods? What does he know of the gods? Or was it pure invocation of the gods? What religion did Lewis Hamilton grow up knowing? Something to think about. It doesn't really matter. It's a spirit that's within all of us. You can find Christ-like people that never ever was taught anything about Christ. And then similarly, they're very Buddhist or Krishna. You know, I just want to go back to, I really love cows. Not so much just the eating of them, but I've always found them as fascinating creatures that I just adored. Truly, truly. And all my life, I always, you know, driving across America and seeing they don't smell so great, but I've always loved cows. I've always been drawn to them. I believe it's him. I had no reason. I never grew up on a farm or anything like that, but I would just love them. I don't know why. I just do. Alright, let's talk about some teachings of Buddha. Why? Why not? Talk about enough over here. I'm going to, I turn to the back. Interesting. Human beings tend to move in the direction of their minds, that their minds direct them. On page 238. The point of the teaching is to control one's mind. Control your mind in the first place. If you control your mind, various states of mind, the mind is not the ego personality. Do not let the mind to sway you. Conquer your mind. Be the master of your mind. All evils come from the body, mouth, and mind. The revelation of the mind and words. This body is nothing but a borrowed thing. As I said that, I really want to go into their teachings of reincarnation. I've told you about Krishna's. No, I haven't read those to you guys on this page. This body is full of impurities of all kinds. Do not covet anything. Keep the body, mouth, and mind pure. Be impartial and try hard. Human suffering. Human suffering arises from the mind of attachment. So very true. We suffer because we can't have the things we want. How to prevent suffering. Delusions and ignorance form the entrance to enlightenment. How to be emancipated from suffering. I'm just looking at the glossary, and it's interesting how it reads, because it's telling you, it's not at all how we would read. As I'm reading this to you, it's telling you all the pages. It's almost like it's scriptured for you of where to go, because it tells you what page and what line. It's very interesting. When the hot fire of passion is extinguished, refreshing enlightenment can be attained. Lust is the very source of delusion. Thinking of lust as a viper hidden among the flowers. Have no attachment to the burning house. Passion in the source of evils. This world is in the burning fire. Hold on. Can you stop breathing so hard behind me? If people chase after fame and honor, it's like burning themselves. If a man chases after wealth and lust, He's ruining himself. Wise men and foolish men differ in their fundamental natures. Foolish men are not aware of their errors. Yeah, you're like totally unaware of what you're doing. Foolish men envy the good fortune of others by looking only at the results. Do you feel persecuted, bro? I feel it for you. Holy shit. We were talking about the 7 deadly sins, is what we were talking about earlier. The way in which foolish men are apt to acting. I don't know what that was, I just went to it. Practical guide. Duties of the brotherhood. Practical ways to practical attainment. The way of purification. The teaching of ancient fables. There's a bunch of those. At least they label them so that we don't have to read their parables forever. It's a huge book. It's his Bible. Causation. There are causes for the human suffering, and there is ways by which they may be ended, because everything in the world is a result of a vast occurrence of causes and conditionings, and everything, page 80, everything disappears as these causes and conditions change and pass away. Rain falls, wind blows, plants bloom, leaves mature and are blown away. I noticed that today as I was walking to the ATM. Really? I noticed how many of the leaves had fell. It was quite astonishing. I was like, uh-oh, it's happening fast. Anyways, these phenomenons are interrelated with cause and condition and are brought about by them. They disappear as the cause and the condition changes. One is born through the conditions of parentage. His body is nourished by food. His spirit is nurtured by teachings and experience. Therefore, both flesh and spirit are related to conditions and are changed as conditions change. As a net is made up of series of knots, move down. It is called a net because it's made up of a series of connecting meshes, and each mesh has its place and responsibility in relation to other meshes. Dependent organization. Just kind of looking at all this. Causation. The Buddha nature. The mind that is not disturbed by things as they occur, that remains pure and tranquil under all circumstances, is a true mind and should be the master. We cannot say that an inn disappears just because the guest is out of sight. Neither can we say that the true self has disappeared when the defiled mind, which has been aroused by the changing circumstances of life, has disappeared. Well, isn't that the truth? As I said that, I felt this piercing in my fucking ribs. What is it? The fight. The bluff call. We called God's bluff many times about his oh so faithful children. If you didn't make it easy for them, they wouldn't love you so much. Truly? Yeah. That was the thing. And that's how everybody gets jobed. You have to prove your love. You had to. You still should. In essence, the church tries to tell you how to prove it. But it's not by deeds. They always said it was by good works. It's a true heart. You can't buy your way into heaven. It's never by deeds. Meaning everything you do is a payment towards, you know what I mean, salvation. That's not it at all. So let me see this. Let me say this again for those that didn't understand what we said. They're talking about the mind, right? So neither can we say that the true self has disappeared when the defiled mind, which has been aroused by the changing circumstances of life, has disappeared. That which changes with changing conditions is not the true nature of the mind. And that's it. You have a peace of mind because everything's chill. But are you chill when everything's not? And that's how I got into this state. I asked Bob Marley yesterday, how am I in this state? Because I'm in a chill vibe. Whatever happens, bro. And that's what's really great about the end of the movie. He was said in the movie, let me see if I can remember it. I only heard it once. He said, the great Buddha said, there's no point in worrying about the things in which you cannot change. And those things will happen, so why worry? Something to that effect. And it's like, there's no point in stressing. But yet, that's the difference. Where did I get all my happiness from? That's what I try to tell you. I don't stress. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing... And that's where it is like, you get this certainty, this sense of certainty when you get to this level. When you've released all understanding of control and you fully understand that it was never about being in control of the outside world, but of the inside world, because you never were in control of the outside world. You could say it's destiny, fate, random, but in essence, it's always made just perfectly for you. Every day opens up a door just perfectly for your reality, and that's where that mastermind comes into effect, where you created your own reality just by your own thoughts and experiences, right? So we stress things, and then those things come to be. We live out our worst fears all the time because we're projecting them, we're living them out in our head, and they become our reality, right? So, when you get to a place where you don't live out, negativity in your head, it doesn't project in your reality. And realistically, as you see the negativity playing out, you're unscathed by it. Not that you're unfeeling to it, but you're not worried about it. Everybody worries about everything all day. I don't really worry. I did today. Let me tell you what happened today. Oh gosh, it was one hell of a day. It was funny because I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't. I had to call. I needed to put down 3 professional references. And I don't fucking talk to nobody. So naturally the first one I put is Mr. Plum. And when I called him to make sure it's okay, he said that's fine. He's like, have you ever got a call? He's like, I've never gotten a call before. He's like, I know, right? But they make us do it. And I just had to have somebody, so I'm going to go ahead and put you down there. And then I didn't have 2 other ones, right? So, just out of desperation, I was guided to go ask 2 of the staff members to help me out. One being Red, who's always pretty cool with me. And then one being this other person that's pretty cool with me. But then, remember, I asked them for this information. I got this information Monday, right? Tuesday was my interview. Forgive me, Tuesday. So I asked them for the information Tuesday. I just gave them my phone and I had them put it in there. And they're like, good luck. I was like, cool. All right, well then, I saw Red today and he's like, hey, did you get that position? They called me and I just dropped. I was like, what? Why did I drop? Because of the other person. The other person was part of the shit that happened yesterday morning. So I don't know. All day I was stressing, fuck. What if they called, dude, and this chick totally fucking hung me because of what happened in the morning? I was stressing it. And anyways, Red's like, what? I was like, what? So then I ran upstairs right away and I called Mr. Plum. He's like, yeah, I did. But because of our relationship, they said they couldn't use me as a professional, so they would just put me as a personal reference. And I was like, oh shit, what if they didn't say anything? So then I talked to Red, and Red laid it on super thick. Like, I don't want to say he lied, but he laid it on real thick so that he was a very good professional reference. So I knew I had one in the bank, but I was like, what if they called this lady and she said some bad shit just to get back at me of what happened yesterday? And I didn't know. I was stressing it all day. And then I asked Red, I was like, do you think she did? He's like, not that person. No, not that person. And I was kind of stressing it. And then I got an email, because it's a protocol. You have to do all these steps. Then I got an email. Congratulations. We'd like, with the furthering process, we'd like to know more about you, and please sign on to our onboarding. I didn't do that. But as soon as I got the email, I was very relieved, because at the same time, I was like, fuck. This is what's going to do it, right? I was like, fuck. No way. That was about it. I stressed that for a little while when I realized that was a thing. Have you guys ever heard of them calling you references? No, but I'm messing with a whole new department of shit that I've never got into before. And that's what I posted. I started laughing. That's what gave me the energy to get on here. I saw this post. I'll use it as the cover. It's all, I need to quit applying for every job I see online. I have an interview to be a judge tomorrow. And I'm sitting there like, how did I get this job, bro? Like, what the fuck? Sometimes, dude, I'd be like, how did you get here? I don't know, my mouth, bro. I can get myself in. I just gotta be able to pull this job off, dude. Let's hope I got what it takes. And it's kind of like, I told you guys earlier today is to buff up that resume and go walk in some doors and, you know, get you some good shit. And it was really funny because I got me something and I was like, fuck. But then luckily it was okay. But otherwise, no, I really don't stress. When things happen, I look straight at God, bro, for answers. I know exactly where to go for the answers, and it only takes a little bit of time to get that answer when you're listening. Really, everything that happens is God. So if there's a hiccup, it's God. You know what I mean? Anything. Like today, oh shit. I saw this fucking, I was like, oh God, I need you. You better be behind me, bro. I had to drop my kid off, and my fucking, there's a fucking, you know, it's school, so these little wiener cops like to catch people. I remember in Oklahoma, I'd sit there every day watching him catch people. Okay, well, there happened to be one on the road to go drop off my son, and I still have my big ass fucking busted ass fucking windshield, and he's right in front of me. I'm like, oh man, it's one of those ones on a motorcycle, you know, the Chips cop. Luckily I didn't come back the hill for him to get me, but now I'm like, this king of the hill better not be there tomorrow. That was a little stressful. And that's where you just look to God. You're like, you got me, God. You got me, God. Gotta go through this fire. There's a cop up there, God. Like, you got me, right? That's all I could do. And then in the essence, if they can see through the big crack, then they should see that huge altar and maybe not fuck with me. Maybe not. The last cop. What happened to the last cop? I don't know. Just kidding. He asked me if I was going to curse him. He was very scared. I didn't even have the altar in the fucking car like that. He would have been twice as scared. He would have never pulled me over. Just kidding. Sometimes you get scared, but you're not supposed to worry. Really not. You shouldn't. When you know he's in charge and he's just fucking doing shit. You know that, you know what I mean? It's stages to this shit. As I say that, it's like Fortuna. It's like, fuck. You know what I mean? He'll put you all the way up and then drag you down and do all this weird shit with you. And it's like, are you serious right now? Like, can I just get a Happy Meal and go to bed? I've always described it as being strapped into a car seat. And you're on a journey, and it doesn't matter if you cry. They're just going to turn the music up and throw snacks at you. It's kind of how the ride of the universe is. You're just supposed to know. All you can do is kind of have some knowing. And that gives you, you know, peace. Me and, that's what Diana and I were laughing about. She's like, you know, I saw it in my cards. And then that's what it is. It's like, we could look around and just pull out a card and be like, yeah, that's what's going on. And leave it alone. We don't have to wonder no more. I wonder what's going on with people today. Oh, let me check the tarot. Oh, this is exactly what I felt out there. You too? Do we need any more? Nope. And that's all the knowing is to give you comfort of what the fuck you're going through. Mastering the mind is just overcoming the temptations and the passions and all of that shit. The childlike of it. Where it's like, I want to be like everyone else, and how come no one loves me, and I'm fat, and it's just no, oh god. Me to myself, I'm getting on my fucking nerves right now. And that's where I said, oh Lord, just dealing with the mind and how it just whines all the time. You guys might call it self-criticism, or, you know what I mean, whatever that is, perfectionism. Mine's just a whining little bitch. Like, shut the fuck up already. I'm so tired of my little mind. It's just a little mind, and it's like, that's what the mastering of the mind is. It's just understanding it, being kind to it, knowing where it comes from, soothing it, not giving into it, fucking terrorists. It's such a terror up there, dude. I don't give into everything that motherfucker says. Hell to the no. You guys don't give into your heart. That's the safe bet. You do everything that motherfucking terrorist mind of yours says. I am totally the opposite on this. No, I'm not doing what that. I'm not doing what you think. What do you feel? Really? Yeah, we don't do what we think. We do what we feel. Because our thoughts are just predictable. They try to keep you in a safe zone. They keep you in the norm. They try to be a know-it-all. Let's do some shit we don't know. Fuck around and find out. In the essence, it's just... And that's where trust and faith and hope, you know what I mean? I like that story because it was talking about, in our culture, they believe that, you had to go, I don't know, on these long journeys to atone for your sin and stuff like that. And so, like, he's just like, these backpackers and shit. They don't really know. I mean, with your phone, it gives you a little bit more knowing. But when you step out into the unknown, you just have confidence, faith, hope, you know what I mean? And that's it, and you just go out there. And that's what it's about, to be, you know what I mean, in good spirits. It's to not have an expectation and not be fucking pissed off if it doesn't go your way and you get rerouted. You know what I mean? Just to go with whatever's you're going with. And understand that you are going in the right direction. I keep hearing this term, it's like, I feel like I'm on the right path. I feel like things are, getting on track. They were never off track. You have never strayed away from your track. You were exactly where you were supposed to be. You just might feel better about it now, or you're more hopeful. You're more calm. You have a better outlook on it. But nothing's fucking changed. We're still going to go through the same fucking tracks. Realistically, yeah, more or less, because we're all heading towards the same ending, which is what? Death. So we're all just taking different ways on our way to death. Really? Yeah. You know what I mean? Death-defying experiences until one of them kills us. Are you afraid of dying? Do not be. I promise you. It's just a stepping off. You're going to step into a whole nother life. Hopefully not right away. I don't understand why you guys want to reincarnate and come back so fast. Actually, I do. As I said that, it's like, because you know you only have so much time to do the rest of your work. How many years? 35? Also is know it. And if you don't, you just won't be able to experience it here, which is where you've always had it. So you don't want to have it somewhere else. I don't know. Depending on your eternal flames and all. Anyways, we can, what is it? Let's see. Let us think of a lecture hall that is bright while the sun is shining, but dark after the sun goes down. We can think of the light departing with the sun and the dark coming with the night, but we cannot so think of the mind that perceives lightness and darkness. The mind is that it is susceptible to, the mind that is susceptible to lightness and darkness cannot be given back to anybody. It can only revert to a truer nature, which is the fundamental nature. It is only a temporary mind that momentarily notes changes of lightness and darkness as the sun rises and sets. It's funny because I don't see that at all. I can stand in the middle of the day and look up and see the night. Can you? I can see past the illusion of the sun. Why do you call it the illusion of the sun? Because you base everything off of the view of the sun. It's an illusion. Realistically, I mean, don't get me wrong, the planet needs it. But that's only one side of it. You only get, you know what I mean, we sit in the sunlight for so many hours, and as we're going through now, all of our time is going to start diminishing. It'll become darker sooner, right? How all that happens. But again, it's all dark. unless you're facing the sun. It's an illusion. We live in darkness, and there's only so much light. You guys see it as, all daylight, and there's only a couple hours of darkness. It's the opposite. It's still dark beyond that light. You ever considered that? I can look up on the... It doesn't matter. It's just the sun is in my way. But it's not. I can look up at the blue sky and still see the dark night and the stars that are up there. It's still dark up there. You just can't see it because the sun is in your way. Do you understand? Probably not. Because you've never seen anything past your own 2 thoughts. You and your 2 cents. Alright, moving on. Whatever. The disturbance and the defilements of the human mind are aroused by greed, as well as by its reaction to changing circumstances. The mind that is not disturbed by things as they occur, that remains pure and tranquil under all circumstances, and the true mind should never... Oh, I reread that. Sorry, I'm on the wrong page. I just realized that. Anyways, it is only temporary. Mind that has different feelings from moment to moment with the changing circumstances of life. It is not real, and it is not the real true mind. The fundamental and true mind, which realizes the lightness and the darkness, is the true nature of man. The temporary feelings of good and evil, love and hatred, that have been aroused by surroundings and changing external conditions are only momentary reactions that have their cause in the defilement accumulated by the human mind. Period. Emotions are triggered. Your feelings of good and evil and of love and hatred are aroused or triggered by your surroundings and the changing external conditions. Shit pisses you off. Shit makes you hatred. Shit makes you fall in love with. It's all that. You're constantly flowing through all of this, and it's just because of imagery through your mind builds up all of these feelings, emotional reactions in your body. And that's why it says this. They have their cause in the defilement accumulated by the human mind. I pointed that out earlier today, and I pointed out why. No, I didn't ask why. I told you what we do. I didn't ask why we do it. I said we must stop it. I don't even want to know why we do it. But we were talking about going to the beach and how everybody by nature stares at everybody else's body looking for defects. We're constantly looking to judge people's bodies. Well, I didn't ask why we did that, but I said that if we stop judging theirs, if we stop worrying about theirs, then we won't be judging ours. Let's learn to change it, right? And that's just how it is. It's like, you're fine until you go outside, and now stuff starts, you know what I mean? Here comes the flow, start your engines. And it's just that. You go from one moment you're chill, to the next minute you're in love, to the next minute you're tired, to the next minute this and that. It's all from the outside stimulation. Behind desires and worldly passions which the mind entertains, there abides clear, undefiled, the fundamental and true essence of the mind. Water is round, and in round reciprocals and squares in the square one, but water itself has no particular shape. People often forget this fact. People see this good and that bad. They like this and dislike that, and they discriminate existence from non-existence, and then being taught in these entanglements and becoming attached to them, they suffer. That's pretty much what's going on here, is people, like, you were taught something different, and you discriminate the existence from non-existent, meaning you're saying it's not real. When we can prove it's real, but you've never seen this proof. You were never taught this. And that's where it is. Anyone that pops up on spirituality and shit, I got something quick to tell you. Come check my page. It's like, it forces them to argue, and they're only arguing because of a lack of knowledge. They're saying it's not real because they've never heard of it. or because someone told them it wasn't real. They've never done the research for themselves to see that everything we speak of is real. No, that's not true. And that's where it goes back to my men. I've made them believers. At this point, I can't tell you what they believe in except for all of it. How can you believe in some and not all? And that's why they don't approach me. Why? Because they know that I'm literally mystical. That I am what I say I am, and it terrifies them. Because they don't know. Which is what? They don't know how to act. There's no book for this. There's no protocol. But they did try to, do what they typically do, just out of pattern reflex. That didn't work. How'd that flex go? It'd make me fucking slap the shit out of you acting stupid out here like that. But in the essence, they've learned. In the beginning, no. Everybody thinks I'm fucking crazy. She's crazy. Until I show you it's all true. And what I can do. And where it all comes from. And that there was many before me. I'll be running around calling me crazy forever. My favorite part was when I shoved Wolfman at him. You want to call this dude crazy? You want to call him crazy? When he's literally, and I pulled the fucking video, and I was like, when he's literally talking about us right now, this is crazy. He predicted this days ago. This is crazy? No, there's many of us. You're crazy. Crazy ass. But that's what it is when you realize somebody has a power that you don't obtain, you fear that power. What is my power? Knowing? You want to know? What are you going to do with that knowing? You're going to try to make, you're going to, what, rob the stock market? Go rob a fucking casino? What are you going to do with this? Nothing. You're just supposed to use it to help people stay calm. You can't change what's happening, bro. All you can do is fucking listen to God and stay calm about it. Let Him take care of you through this while you rehabilitate yourself. Really? I mean, what the fuck other options do you have for the rest of your life? The reality in which we live is, I'm not going to say slowly, very quickly deteriorating, no matter where you live. No matter what country you live in right now, you are being affected by our reality. It is falling. I don't give a shit where you live. The paradigm of what we used to have as a real life before COVID, it's diminishing worse and worse and worse and worse. Hey, you missed the rapture. Why didn't we get taken? We're the left behind. So what do we got to do? We got to clear our minds and get ready. For what? Well, I mean, we're all pretty much being judged. So that we can make it through this fire. Without losing our fucking minds. Without fucking, you know what I mean? I want to say like falling to sin, but in the essence it's just literal desperation. We can overcome this. But it's like not everybody's going to around the world. I don't know, you know what I mean? Without God, form of God, that a higher source that somebody believes in is watching out for them, they're going to lose their minds. Because in essence, you never were in control, and until you realize that something else is in control outside of you, you're completely out of control. Until you can surrender to the fact that there's something bigger happening here outside of you. And that's what I try to teach you is God, the Holy Spirit. In all the ways that He has literally made this happen in your life. Piece by piece by piece. But He's not just working in your life. He's working in everyone. Individually but collectively. It's the same fucking goal. How can He be everywhere and nowhere? Because that's what God is. You're looking for some man on a cloud. I'm trying to show you that they live within us and around us, and people that didn't even know their teachings. It's a spirit. It's not a fucking personality or a character. It's a spirit within all of us. You have to learn to harness the spirit, recognize the spirit, and walk in the spirit. How do you do that? By overcoming the mind. Everybody taught you different ways. I'm here to teach you the dark way. Carl Jung tried to put it in science, couldn't put it in words. Dante tried to put it into fucking words, couldn't put it into words. I'm teaching you how to go through fucking hell. They call it this beautiful dark night of the soul journey. Call it what you want to call it, bro. We're going to rip your fucking mind apart. Every fucking terrible feeling it's ever had. Every negative thought it produces. And we're going to pull that shit out and we're going to put some good shit in. We're literally going to rip apart your whole programming, your ego, what you are made of, bro. You are made of nothing but your thoughts. We're going to rip them apart, one by one, to where you're mindless now, and you have a great spirit that you listen to. The mind still shatters a little, but it listens to the leader, which is your spirit. Instead of your spirit being suffocated by the fears of your mind, where it can't do, because it's so afraid to be free. And what would people think? And I don't have enough money, and I'm too old, and I'm black, and I'm this, and I'm that. That is just your mind and what it's been told. Those are not real. In essence, you could say they're absolute fucking excuses. But they're your truth until you realize it's never been true. And that's where you have to challenge your mind, not us. Stop trying to prove us that you're something better. Prove it to your mind. Just take control of your mind. You giving into it like every other mindless freak on the internet doesn't show us anything. You repeating, scriptures doesn't show us anything. Show us that you can control your mind and surrender to this. Show us that you can learn detachment. You can attain enlightenment. Not show me the money. That's what I'm hearing. Alright. Let's see. That's where we said entanglements and become attached to them, and then they suffer. If people would give up their attachments to these imaginary and false discriminations, meaning if I was like you, I would be, like, how you judge me, bro? Do you still judge me because I live in a homeless shelter? Do you see me as less of because of external circumstances? You think I'm a bad person? I'm less of a great person because of where I live? The clothes I wear, which car I drive, or the food I eat makes me less godly, spiritual? Like, I'd love to have this talk where, because I smoke weed, I'm not godly. Really? You should hit this and see what God says to you. In the essence, it's like, there's all these structures, false discriminations inside of your mind, bro, that you put onto yourself and you put onto others. I could never do, and that's what I heard in the stairs yesterday. Not everyone can just do what you do. I was like, what, give up? What does it hurt? Your fucking ego and your pride. What do you gain from it? Peace, joy, happiness, acceptance, bro, patience, faithfulness, dude. What's the problem, bro? Yeah, it's fucking, and that was, Wolfman. Here you go again. If you want to just leave all your material fucking belongings and run away to a temple and wear rags, be my guest. But I believe in having an ego, and that you need an ego to be successful. Am I not successful because I gave up such things? Or was it giving up those things that made me more successful than anybody ever? You're never going to meet a guru face to face. You're welcome. You're never going to meet in any of this. I had to give up everything. It costed my whole life to have a new life. And that's what you don't get. You want a new life with no fucking sacrifice. You could never. Your pride would never let you, and that's why you'll never see the kingdom of God. The fall of man was always their pride. Their desire to look upon others as highly favored. It's your pride. You couldn't be me because you'd be too afraid of what people would say. It would kill your pride. And believe me, bro, when Bobby asked me if I was homeless and I had to tell him the truth, it hurt the very fabric of my being because I was so scared in that moment of how terrible he would judge me. And at that point, when I said it, I didn't even realize it. I had to tell the truth, not to him, but to myself, because by that time, and that's what I said, I was like, I've been homeless since I left Commerce City. but I never truly was. I found home wherever God took me, and that was the journey to where, you know what I mean? Your worst fears, you know what I mean? That was my worst fear. If I'm going to end up homeless in my car on Christmas. I fought my worst fears, something that nobody should ever have to do. But I did it in the name of God, and I did it proudly, bro. No, not proudly, bro. I did it fucking kicking and screaming and hurting. But I was pleased with myself that it was just one fucking day. But, that the very thought of something like that. And that's a story that someone could milk for the rest of their life. Yeah, me and my kids were homeless in my car for 5 months. Me and my kids lived in my car for 5 months. Me and my kids lived... I could milk that and make you feel sorry and make it feel like, the most saddest, most pathetic fucking time of my life. But if you lived it with me and it's in these videos, it wasn't. It was scary. It was unknown. It was just something that, other people had to face in their life, and they made it okay. And when I came out of it with this book, with this understanding that I had been introduced into the Brotherhood. It's called the Homeless Brotherhood of Buddha. I had understood that I had gone through it. I'd gone through the fires, and this was something that, only the ancients had done, and I did it. My Lord was pleased. And when I came out, I was like, dude, I'm a professional car camper. And that's really it, dude. That's how I look at it. I'm a professional car camper. That's how I looked at it. But, you're not your circumstances, by no means. But that's if you choose to wear the shame of whatever people you thought you were. If you were in this position. And that's where it is you shame me, but there's no shame to be had. I'm not what people say. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not crazy. I'm not neglectful. I'm not a prostitute. I'm not any of those things that you say homeless people are. I gave up my home, and that just automatically made me homeless. And I tried to run from the reality that that's what I was, because that's not how I saw myself. And that's exactly what I told him. I was like, I consider myself a nomad, but yeah, ever since I left Commerce City, I haven't had a home. And, I'm not... It was shameful in the sense you don't want to tell somebody that because you're afraid of what they'll say. But when you look back, it's like I was brave enough to go through it, and I didn't steal or lie or cheat, and I had to face everyone and still keep my head held high and have faith that, it'll be okay, and this is what God did to me, and I need to just trust the process. And it was very painful, but all it is painful to, I promise you, is just your ego, bro. Nobody's gonna hurt you, nothing hurts more than your pride in these moments. Nobody's hurting you. It's just hurting your mind. It goes against everything you stood for. I'd never let this happen to me and my family. Why did I let this happen? Because I trusted God. The things I feared most, He showed me there was nothing to fear, and that no matter what, He's always there. And that's where I have the peace today. He'll make me face more fears, always. Because He wants me to, we're bigger. He's bigger than my fears. And as long as I have Him, I can face any of these fears. So He'll continue to do that. But that's all it really is. What is this journey? You lose your mind. And in essence, it's your identity so that you can become a better version of yourself. But in order to become a better version, the best version of yourself is a humbled, kind, forgiving, loving person. To be that, to be Buddhist, you're going to take it all off, bro. To where you're not going to be like that anymore, where those things don't matter. Your clothes don't matter, your job doesn't matter, your body doesn't matter. These things don't matter to us anymore. They did. They were of all importance when I thought like you. But I learned to change my mind. And that's what I teach you guys. And no, tomorrow's Friday. I will raise up in the fires of the darkest pits of my mind, and I will face its shadows. but I will nurture it down and I will change my mind. Some dormant, dark part of my mind will rise tomorrow, because that's what we do on a Friday. And I will show you how to do it, like I do all the time. How we go through the battles of the mind to set our heart free and to, walk in that. So this was a good one. I'm going to call it a night and go to bed. I'm not a Buddhist, but I am. I didn't study Buddhism. I became Buddhist by just becoming spiritual. I was a Christian. I studied Christianity. I was a devout Christian. So to say I became a Christian through this is not true. I became Hindu. I became many things through this. Not because of the books I read the books later, but I realized that I walked in their teachings. I always think about Sangaru. He was very offended when I came to him and had to, light him up from the other side. And it was Krishna that sent me to him. We're talking like, this is basically like the Pope, and which I will have that talk with the Pope when the day comes, whoever that Pope might be. But he's basically the Pope of that religion. And I had to come to him as a witch and say, you're wrong, and the Ascending Masters have called judgment upon you. What did he do? He ran to his spiritual teachings and found out real fast I was Kali. And we didn't talk anymore. No news is good news. But in the essence, he started teaching harder. And so he realized that there was truth. And that's it. You can question it, but you can ask God, and he'll start giving you nightmares and shit. He'll show you the truth. They might look like nightmares because where I come from isn't as pretty as this place. Fire and torment and all that good stuff. I don't know, I guess. And that's where it is. It's like you don't realize you're in hell until someone tells you. I didn't know this was hell. Why do you call it like that? Why do you make my home sound like a terrible place? And then going back to the homeless shelter, it's not exactly like that. We're in a family homeless shelter, but yeah, it'll make you want to lock your doors if you're not, you know what I mean, the right person. You might be questioning all the people walking through the parking lot. I assure you, they're not all on drugs. There's a few here and there, but not really. And that's where it is. It's like, yeah, I occupy the darkest places, but that's because God had to put a light bulb down there. He had to light them up. These are all people, bro, that have been casted out by the world. The sinners beyond sinners. They all have, you know what I mean? And I'm just here to bring a light, to bring the Holy Spirit. I pray over them. I fucking sage them. I do incantations. I'm doing, God brought me here. Just as well as he brought me to Arizona for the tribes and wherever he takes me. It's not about that place serving us, but us being a service to that place. The movie 7 Years in Tibet. You look at the movie and it's like he was looking for something, but it was something was looking for him. You just kind of understand your role. The role that, you learn to... I guess it's not that you're ever off your purpose. It's just once you understand it. That's all you're looking for, guys. It's not really going to be a huge change. It's just going to you're just going to open your eyes and understand your life a lot more. And why all those pieces had to be put together to make you where you are today. And that there's still more pieces to put together. And you're not a finished product. But that, you know what I mean? That venturing outside of yourself is what creates the finished product. This isn't the end of... It could be the end of Eminem and the brand new beginning for Marshall Mathers. But he has to let Eminem die in order for Marshall to live. So that Marshall could get out there and have experiences. But if he's always catering to Eminem, then all he can do is be a rapper. That's all Eminem could do. But if he stops being Eminem and continues to be Marshall, it's the beginning of his new life. He has to let that part go. You can't live both lives, Bruce Wayne. You in your little Superman outfit. Are you going to wear the tights all the time? Like, are we going for tights or overalls here? Are you going to put on a suit? You're still sagging? What are we doing here? What role are we playing? And that's to the rest of you guys. Like, I know you want a better life. And that's where I come bearing the bad news that in order to have that great life, you must destroy this one. You must sacrifice this to God. And the belief that He'll give you something better. And that's what keeps me going. It's like, no, I'm not, here comes Lewis. I'm not where the fuck I thought I would be, that's for sure. I'm not where I want to be. But I'm not in a bad place either. And I'm just in a place before He takes me to the next. And that's a good thing, is like, you guys are stagnant. You're like, you don't see a place going because you don't have possibilities. Because God's not working. You're doing all the work. When you don't know, then there's possibilities. It's like, I don't know what comes next. And that means that anything is possible. But if that means, like, I know I'm moving into this house and I'm going to sign a year agreement and I'll be here. You know your future. Okay, what does that do for you? It means you don't have anything else going on. You've got to make this work. It's your contract to this bullshit. You're going to have to walk away from relationships if you want better relationships. You know that your friends you can't be friends with your friends and get into better rooms. Do you know what I mean? Guilty by affiliation, stuff like that. And it's not a terrible thing. You just have to push yourself to grow, to outgrow the situation, to stop being comfortable and put yourself in some uncomfortable situations of growth. You know what I mean? Force yourself into college. Force yourself out of town. Force yourself into a new restaurant. The force is strong within you. Force yourself to try to live before you die. Otherwise, you're just content with dying. You're on a fucking fast track to dying the way that you're living. But are you on a track to living? Is there any time planned out in the next 5 to 10 years that you have time planned out to live? Or just work towards success for the next 5 to 10, 15, 25, 35 years? Which means you're going to work till you die in hopes that you'll be successful. Being successful is just having a good life, bro. It doesn't have a number on it. It doesn't have a zip code. It doesn't have 4 kids and, all this shit. It's not a big fucking Christmas tree. It's not all your family around a birthday cake. That's Hallmark shit that they fucking sell to you in mass media on some fucking, some fucking commercial. Life is good. It can only be better, and how you experience it is what makes better. Having more shit doesn't make life better. It makes you feel more prideful, but it doesn't make you happy. All this shit you have gives you lots of pride. Does it give you happiness? Your homework tonight, and for anyone that catches this in the morning, make a list. Does this make me happy, or does this make me prideful? You're going to be really fucked up off that list. You do it for pride, to show everyone it doesn't make you happy. You do it to make yourself feel safe. It doesn't make you happy. Look at your bank account. Put a number on it. Does that make you happy? Is that enough? What is that number? Why is it so big? Why do you need that much? Do you see what I mean? What you're chasing? I love you guys. Don't. I can already see where this is going come tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow for a Friday then. Stay in a good Buddhist attitude. Start to think about it. That's what we're working on, is the mastering of the mind. Really? Yeah. And we're talking about spiritual retreats too. You might need to retreat. Hey,